Welcome to the third episode, as I am sharing with you in real time as the events occurred on April 27, 2019 at the mass shooting at Chabad Poway on the last day of Passover. In the last episode, I left you off as I was preparing to recite the very special Haftarah that we read once a year, Haftarah, the prophets of Isaiah, that refers to the coming of the Mashiach, the end of the suffering of this exile, and into a world new order in the Messianic age. Oh, I look forward to it every year. And I was so excited, inspired to read it yet once again. And that is when I left the sanctuary and I walked into the lobby, which is on the way to my office. In the lobby, I met my dear friend, Mrs. Lynn Gilbert Kaye. We greet each other, Chag Sameach, and she asks me, Rabbi, what time is the memorial service going to be? I told her around 11:30. And she gave me a wonderful, beautiful, warm smile as we had in the past. And we chit-chatted a little bit. And then I excused myself to go into my office to freshen up, to get prepared for the next segment of the services that will include reading the Haftarah, giving a sermon, doing the memorial service, and then leading with the final Musaf services. In the meantime, children were playing in the playground. Our newest grandson was in the lobby, sleeping in his stroller. And children were playing in the banquet hall. The banquet hall has an entrance from the lobby. So as I returned from my office and I walked towards the lobby with the intent to walk into the banquet hall where there is a ritual sink where I was going to wash my hands in preparation for the rest of the services, to sanctify myself and to be ready in the greatest and purest of frame of mind and body and soul. It is when once again I meet Lori and we look at each other and we exchange kind words with each other, and she gives me this amazing, beautiful smile. I turn around. I'm about to walk into the banquet hall. As I made that 180-degree turn, and now I'm facing the banquet hall, I suddenly hear 4 blasts. I have no idea what that is. I instinctively turn around, and I'm facing the main entrance now. And I see this terrorist holding the AR-15. Lori is laying on the floor now. He looks at me. I look at him. Our eyes lock. I had a split-second decision. What do I do? He froze for a split second because he just did his first kill. And now he sees me. And he lifts up the rifle and aims it towards me. I'm looking right down the barrel of an AR-15. Miraculously, there is a fraction of a pause, enough time for me to turn around and run into the banquet hall to save the children that are there, and to run into the playground and get all the children to safety. At that moment, I had that choice to make. And I realized that my natural reflex, my instincts, was to think about the children. You go and you save the children. That's what you are here for. You are here to do whatever you can. And I remember those flighting moments, thus realizing that it's not about you, it's about the children. And whatever happens to me, happens to me. Your brain is trying to process what it's like having an AR-15 shooting right at you, and you just give up and say, I don't care, I'm in God's hands. I'm going to do what I need to do. My natural reflex, my instincts was to go grab the kids. There are little kids playing behind you. There are kids in the playground. Go get them to safety. And whatever happens to you, happens to you. And I thought, if I go down dying trying to save the kids, so shall it be. At least I tried to save the children. As I turned around to run towards the children, the shooter shot another 4 rounds. After shooting Lori Kaye dead with 4 bullets, he shot at me 4 bullets. As I was running in the banquet hall, 2 of the bullets went past me, hit the wall, and shrapnel hit the children that were there, one very close to their eye and one in their leg. But miraculously, the bullets did not get them. The 2 other bullets, one shot off my right index finger, and the other one mangled my left index finger. I had no idea that I was even shot. My mind was focused on running to the playground where the children are. I run to the playground, and already adults and children are being evacuated. And I see my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter. She's about 4 years old. I scoop her up. I see a face of horror, of terror in her eyes. I did not realize that my fingers were spewing out blood everywhere. The arteries were severed. And she is 4 years old. And she looks at her grandpa and she sees blood everywhere. It's like a picture out of the Holocaust as a pogrom. And here we are, 2019, in the United States of America. Why should a 4-year-old child have to have that look of terror and horror on her face? I grabbed her. I ran down the stairs to the lower parking lot, and we gathered all the children. I ran back up and got all the children, everyone down to the lower parking lot. The adults spread out either on the front or on the back. After we got everyone to safety as much as possible, instinctively, not sure what I was thinking, I ran back up to the line of fire. I ran back up upstairs. I ran into the banquet hall, and I ran into the lobby, not even thinking where the shooter is. Why am I running into the line of fire? But in my mind is, I have to go to the sanctuary. I have to see who else can I save? Who else can I do something for? In the meantime, blood was spewing out of both my fingers. As I got into the lobby, I saw on the floor Lori Kaye. I hardly recognized her. It was a horrific scene. There was no blood, but she was just lying there unconscious. Some doctors from the congregation came to try to resuscitate her. In the meantime, I asked, where's the shooter? I did not see him in the lobby anymore. I had no idea if he was hunting us. I had no idea if he's running after the children, if he's running down to where I brought them all to safety. I had no idea. And someone said he ran outside. In the meantime, I ran inside to the reception room, which was also in the lobby, and I lifted up the telephone to call 911. When I went to dial 911, I realized I didn't have my finger to dial with. Blood everywhere from my fingers. It was one of those most frustrating moments. Dialing 911 and you're getting a busy tone. I hung up, I dialed again, 911, again a busy tone. I felt so isolated. I felt so abandoned that the world doesn't know what's happening over here. We have a shooter on the loose and we can't get any help. and I'm dialing, repeating, dialing, until finally an operator answers and says, "What's your emergency?" I says, "There's a mass shooting happening right now." So it puts me on hold and connects me with the local sheriff department. When I finally got through, a first responder arrived. As soon as the first responder arrived, I hung up and I went into the sanctuary. It was a walk in the valley of the shadow of death. I had no idea what I was going to find in the sanctuary. Thinking that the congregants that there, all my children are there, my grandchildren were there. I didn't know what to expect. I opened up the door of the sanctuary and I look, and it's silence, a frightening silence. But when I looked, I saw that there's no one there. I turned around. Then I heard a very, very powerful shout out. And that was Dr. Howard Kaye, Lori's husband, who is a doctor, who heard that someone was shot in the lobby, came out to give first aid, and he sees her but does not recognize it's his wife. He begins CPR when he recognized his wife's jewelry and realized it's his wife. Howard fainted on the spot. In the meantime, I grabbed 2 prayer shawls, wrapped it around both of my hands. I grabbed a chair and I went outside where I saw a group of our congregants gathered there. When I got outside, I learned what happened after he shot me. After he shot Lori with 4 bullets, he shot at me 4 more bullets, trying to get me and the children that were behind me in the banquet hall. He then turned to the left, which was the entrance to the sanctuary. He shot 2 bullets. My son-in-law, who just got married 2 weeks before, was on the podium reading from the Torah. When he heard the shots and he turns around, 2 bullets come right at him. One bullet went into the actual podium, splattered with shrapnel all around. The other bullet went right over. It went over his kippah, enough that the kippah got ripped, but his head was spared. My youngest son-in-law just got married, standing there. A bullet grazes his head and survives. Some shrapnel got into his back, which was minimal. The other bullet went into the podium. And then I learned that what happened to the shooter was a veteran, Mr. Oscar, who traditionally always sits in the front seat of the sanctuary. For reasons unbeknown to anyone, he decided to sit in the last row, parallel to the lobby, the entrance door to the sanctuary. As soon as Oscar heard the gunshots, he knew right away there's a shooting. His first instinct was to evacuate, but as he got up to go, he realized that's not who he is. He turned around and ran towards the shooter, and he shouted at the shooter, startled him. At the same point, we don't know who did this till today, someone hurled a chair at the shooter. The shooter fumbled. He didn't know how to change cartridges. He spent his 10 bullets and he was trying to reload, didn't know how to reload because Oscar charged at him. And whoever threw the chair at him, to me it's still an angel because no one knows who it was. He fled the scene. In the meantime, in the sanctuary, Dr. Howard Kaye, who always kept a pistol with him for self-defense, just in case for an event like this. This is the husband of Mrs. Lori Kaye. He sees Jonathan, the Border Patrol agent, who just happened to be there, who traveled 3 hours to come to be there at services. Dr. Howard Kaye throws the pistol to Jonathan because Jonathan was off duty, didn't have his sidearm with him. Jonathan grabs this pistol. He runs outside. He sees the shooter getting into the car. He takes aim and shoots at the driver's side. But the bullet ricochets off because the pistol wasn't strong enough to shatter the window. The gunman hears the gunshots, turns around, jumps the curb, and Jonathan shoots another few rounds, but it ricocheted. Did not succeed in getting him. In the meantime, Mr. Allen took down the license plate number. Zach started to throw rocks at him, at the car. He got away. 2 miles down the road, he pulls into a parking lot at a local restaurant. And he calls up 911 and introduces himself. And he says, I have just killed people at the synagogue. I killed as many Jews as I was able to save the white race in America. To paraphrase what he said. He remained there. Our preschool director's friend, who's a detective, his partner was the one who got the call. He was about 10 minutes out. He has never driven as fast ever in his life, up to 130 miles per hour. He arrived at the scene, at the restaurant parking lot, and he was able to apprehend the terrorist, the shooter. Back at the synagogue, I was looking. At first, no one knew where the shooter was until we were assured that he drove away, that he's no longer on site. We did not know if he's hiding in a classroom or if he's hunting us. We had no idea. People were so horror, terror-stricken. I look to see, where is my congregants? Where are they? So I found a whole group of them were huddling and shivering and shaking, terror-stricken, on the sidewalk in front of the synagogue. That's when I grabbed a chair. I put the chair down. I climbed up on the chair. You know, this thing happened 1,345 days ago. I feel like it happened today. I got up on the chair and I told everyone, just 7 days ago at the Seder, we all sat around the Seder table and we said, Vehi Shamda, that in every generation they rise up against us to strike us down. But God spares us. God saves our life. Today, God has spared us, that we are alive, we survived. At the time, we did not know that Lori Kaye was killed. We knew she was shot. We did not know she was killed. And I told everyone that what happened here today is a miracle. And we need to be grateful and thankful that our lives were spared in a miraculous way. And we need to remember that even though in every generation they rise up against us, God will always protect us. And we need to always remember, Am Yisroel Chai. Am Yisroel Chai. Am Yisroel Chai. You could just see the look on the members standing up and shouting out with me, Am Yisroel Chai. I said we have to believe in the coming of Mashiach, that all this suffering, all this hatred is going to end. At that time, the paramedics came and forced me down from the chair to go into the ambulance to the hospital. I relive this event every single day since. Every Saturday night when we strike a match to light Havdalah, I smell the gunpowder from the match. It reminds me of the gunpowder that filled the lobby. Anytime I hear loud noises, I still startle. What happened that day, I will never forget. But I do know, as King David wrote in the book of Tehillim, Lo omus ki echya v'asaper ma'aseh. I did not die so that I can tell over the wonders of God. Please subscribe so that you can hear the next episode, which I'll share with you some more of the miracles that happened that day and how we responded to this shooting and how we as a community, as a world, responded to these events. May God bless us all, that we should no longer, never experience such terrible events. I have a reminder every single day, 24/7, of how lucky I am to be alive. Why I lost 2 index fingers, there are many interpretations which I'll share with you. But I am here today to inspire you, to share these events with you, to be recorded in the chronicles of history of everything that happened that day, from my perspective, from firsthand, in real time. And I hope you would be inspired to realize, like King David writes, Hine le'yonum v'le'yishan shomei Yisroel. The guardian of Israel does not sleep or slumber. He will protect us. He has protected us and will protect us forever. God bless you. God loves you.